Welcome to our Sally party. We are really glad that you could be here today to celebrate with us an effort that took multiple years and multiple entities, agencies to get to this point. And we are really thankful that we've got several folks with us today that are going to come and say a few words, but I really appreciate you being here. And if you look around the group, there is a diverse group here. There are people from all aspects, and I really I treasure that about Williamson County, because that's what we do really well. We collaborate and we problem solve and we get things done, and so that's what this is all about. Before I mention certain folks that are going to come up and talk, I do want to say a big thank you to Commissioner Berkman. Where are you?
Right here.
Commissioner oh, right there. Commissioner Berkman worked on the whole concept of environmental issues before Commissioner Long and I came onto the court, and served on our Williamson County Conservation Foundation since 2004 to 2012. And was a part of, and she was the president of our organization called the Williamson County Conservation Foundation. And she saw it from the baby infant stage to what it is today. And it's been a long time. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate it. As we do on the court, sometimes we change roles and we leave a certain responsibility and take on another one, and that's what Commissioner Berkman did. Commissioner Long willingly stepped up and said, "Oh, I want to know everything about salamanders," and so she joined our team, and I appreciate all of her efforts and work since 2012 on this. We had just been a year into the adventure that began with the salamander. Our regional habitat plan that we put together and got a permit back in 2008 included the salamander. Of course, it was all about bugs and birds, really, but the salamander was mentioned because we knew that it was on the candidate list, and we knew that we had to address it at some point. And so we started a 5-year research project, and we hired a professor out of Southwestern and his team, and I don't know if he's here today. Is he here? No? Okay. But, however, Ashley, you were a part of that original research project, and places like this, Swin Bank, that is just such a gorgeous place, isn't it? A park, a city park, surrounded by homes, and people coming right here in the trail system, right where Sally lives. And so we started there as well. The county purchased a property we call it Twin Springs. It actually has bugs, birds, and salamanders, so we figured the trifecta. What a great place. We purchased about 145 acres, and we also do research out there. Our goal was to find out enough about the salamander in hopes that it would never be listed. However, in 2011, in the fall, we found out that because of a settlement from a lawsuit, we had to move forward with the potential listing of the salamander. So we switched gears, and I sent out a big email to the community at large and said, we need to get together, we need to find out what's going on, work with the service and learn about it, but we also need to do research, do the science on it, see where we are, and come up with some solutions. You know, I think the best thing that we do is, in the collaboration, is to come up with local solutions, and that's what we've done here today. Commissioner Long didn't know that she was going to be traveling with me to Albuquerque a couple of times, and that we would be down in the weeds, literally, looking for salamanders and trying to understand how things work, going out and looking at I call them mosquito pits, but basically they're the runoff, the detention ponds, and learning how that works. We've learned so much, haven't we? And I really appreciate your work on this. Thank you for your efforts and all that you've done to help this get to where we are today. Thank you. So, of course, the county took on this project through the Conservation Foundation because it was a regional issue. And we have salamanders not just here in Georgetown, but in other places in the county. But as we went through the process, the Jollyville linked to Travis County, and the Salado salamander linked to us through water we felt like in the northern part of our county. We started targeting the efforts really to the Georgetown salamander and what could we do about that and keeping it off the endangered list. And so working with the city of Georgetown was imperative. And of course, the cities, other cities were part of our team: Leander, Cedar Park, Round Rock. And I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit. But Mayor Ross is here today to say a few words. Mayor, why don't you come up, and I appreciate you being here. You maybe can introduce a few of your folks, because we have, what'd you say?
We got folks here today.
You've got a lot of folks here today, and we appreciate all that the city has done.
Sure, thank you. It's great to be here, great to be in Georgetown. We have a lot of city folks here today. We've got Jim Briggs, he's our assistant city manager. We got Keith Hutchinson behind the camera, he's our PIO. We got Sophia Nelson back there, she's our planning director. Got Kimberly Garrett and Eric from our Parks Department here today. We got Adriana Davila, she is here. She played a huge role in this back there. We got Nat Wagner, he's one of our planning analysts and road guy. We've got David Monk here, he's a city engineer. We got Karen Frost. Also, I think y'all noticed we've got Karen Shelton, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce here today. It's always good to see the chamber here. You want me to give a speech now or later?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I didn't bring glasses, so this ought to be interesting. You know, today's the day to recognize. I'll just make it up. Today is the day to recognize that local government can work with the federal government, come up with innovative solutions. Despite what you might have heard today, we can celebrate different levels of government working together, from the feds to the county to the city. It's a beautiful thing. That's what we specialize in Georgetown. We're taking care of the people we serve and coming up with solutions to issues. This special rule that was approved recognizes that local regulations that establish buffer zones around springs and streams. We now have a defined set of rules that allow reasonable development and protect water quality as well as critical habitat for the Georgetown salamander. It's only fitting that we crafted this water quality rule, since of course Georgetown is known as the land of good water. Georgetown is also one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. Having a playbook for sustainable development will allow growth to continue while we protect the natural resources that make Georgetown such a popular place to live, work, and retire. The City of Georgetown is enacting a multifaceted program, including site planning rules, as well as hazardous waste education, an inlet marker program, creek cleanup efforts, integrated pest management, illicit discharge detection and elimination, and runoff control measures. Many people were involved in this solution, but I particularly want to thank my friend, County Commissioner Valerie Kovac. She's my favorite commissioner because she is my commissioner in Precinct 3. And you know, her leadership was critical in bringing city and county staff together with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And without her leadership, this day wouldn't be possible. Thank you. Yeah, I also want to thank everybody. You know, U.S. Fish and Wildlife was amazing. They have really good people there. Williamson County and the staff of Williamson County, our city staff, the Conservation Foundation of Williamson County was amazing. Our staff was great. So today we demonstrate that local government can work in collaboration with the federal government, the county government, and the city government. Hopefully this will be a good model to follow as we all work together to build a greater Texas, a better Williamson County, and a better Georgetown. Appreciate y'all having me here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. And you're my favorite mayor of Georgetown, by the way. You know, when we started this process, we knew a few people in the Austin office. Of course, we had worked on the regional habitat plan and talked about things like bugs and birds. But what we didn't know is, and had relationships with the regional office in Albuquerque. And so through this process, we have gotten to make good friends and co-workers with the service, and I appreciate that very much. Dr. Benjamin Tuggle is here with us today. He is the regional director of U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in the Southwest region, which means he lives in Albuquerque and works there, but he's got New Mexico, he's got Oklahoma, Arizona, and Texas. So just a few little states like that to cover, and a few issues periodically. But he began his distinguished career in the service in 1979, and he served key leadership positions throughout the nation, including field experience and time in the agency's Washington, D.C. headquarters office. And I could say a whole lot about Dr. Tuggle, but I'll say that in my experience in government, trust and integrity are two things that are very important. And I found that to be true with working with Dr. Tuggle, that he has integrity and we can trust him when he says something that it's going to happen, which is key to this whole thing coming together. Dr. Tuggle, why don't you come up and say a few words? I really appreciate you being here today and traveling all this way. I'm sorry about the humidity, but for us it's pretty darn dry, and so please come up.
Well, good morning, everybody. First thing I'd like to say is it is humid. For New Mexico, it is very humid, but I am very appreciative to have the opportunity to be here today. I think it's very fitting that we would have this ceremony in this place, primarily because it speaks to the uniqueness of the Williamson County and the Georgetown area. If you know anything about this community, you know it's very dynamic. And whenever you have a dynamic community, sometimes you can get conflict because of the economic development as well as the natural environment that economic development may be affecting. And I remember the first time we had our conversation, it was in the conference room in Susan Combs' office, and I walked in and these ladies kind of eyeballed me, and I said this was going to be a challenging event. But after we started talking, we very much understood that we were not trying to exclude one or the other. We very much were trying to maintain the integrity and the uniqueness of this community. And that's where we started. So it wasn't really about endangered species. It was not about, what you could do, what you couldn't do. It was how it is that you strike a balance between communities and people that cared about that community. And you had these other issues like endangered species that were in the way, but we worked through those things. And the reason why we worked through those things is because we cared. It wasn't that we were trying to exclude one or the other. It was that we were trying to strike that balance. It would have been a tragedy if we decided to lose these kinds of areas that really define how unique this environment is. And yet we can still move forward from a standpoint of developing the community and embracing all the good things that are here. And so we didn't let something like an ordinance or something like a law or something like a policy get in the way of us sitting down and deciding what was important for this community. So really what I'd like to say is thank you, Commissioner Covey and Long, and I really cannot tell you how much I appreciate the fact that in spite of what you initially thought of me when we sat in that room,
It was all good.
we decided that we would look to a higher authority. And it isn't as though Williamson County is a newbie to this. With the other work that's taken place with the protection of the unique environments from the HCP some 7 years ago, Williamson County has always been in the forefront, always deciding that we needed to protect the environment. I think the combination between the county leadership and the city leadership, as well as the uniqueness of the Williamson County Conservation Foundation. We don't have that kind of leadership in other counties in Texas. I will tell you we don't have that kind of leadership in a lot of other counties in other states. And so the combination between this environment, the leadership that you have here, the unique opportunity for economic development, and protecting the legacy and the heritage that you have here, really is what struck the chord for all of us to come together and to talk about what we could accomplish. And that is the victory today. That is why we are here today. It would have been very easy for us to list this species and go off in our separate ways and be in a regulatory capacity. But that's not what we did. we decided that we would collaborate. We decided that we would protect this community, and we would look after the economic generator that supports this community. And so this is truly a win-win. This is truly a victory for all of us. And so I talk about it from the standpoint of course, of being a bureaucrat. You have to look at it from the standpoint of endangered species. And I wanted to change that dialogue from the standpoint of not being about an endangered species, but being about a historic legacy for natural resources. And you could not economically develop that area and then not be true to your heritage. And we found a way to do both. And this is the model, Mayor. This is the model for us moving forward and having discussions with people about how we protect and conserve those things that are important to the community. So it's not about what the Fish and Wildlife Service did. Even though I want to acknowledge Adam and his staff, I have a list of folks that are here. Cindy Watson, Paige Navarro, and Chris Harper. Those were the people that sat down and said, we can do this. All we needed to do was make a commitment to supporting the community. And we are so happy that this is a model for us to work from. So many places throughout this country, we are adversarial as it relates to environment and development. And I agree with you. The solutions come locally, because these are the people that are on the ground and have to live here. And so from that perspective, I appreciate what the city has done. I really appreciate what the county has done. And I appreciate the leadership that is here so that we can have this victory, not only for the species, but also for the environment that people have to live here. So thank you, Commissioner Covey. Thank all of you. And it's so much nicer to be able to say thank you versus we'll see you in court. Thank you all very much.
That is really true. We don't need to be in court. Obviously, the Endangered Species Act is a federal act, and along with learning a lot more about the issues locally, we've also learned a lot about the federal government and how it works and operates. And we're blessed to have a man who represents us in Washington that has stood up for us and helped us through this whole process, and been a great communicator for us at the federal level. Congressman John Carter was reelected in 2014 to his 7th term in the House. He was selected as chairman of the Homeland Security Subcommittee on Appropriations, and also serves on the Commerce, Justice, and Science Subcommittee and the Defense Subcommittee. He's been a big friend of ours with Fort Hood so close, and all of the opportunities that we have to love on our soldiers, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that I could call up, and Jonas is here too. Where are you, Jonas? Somewhere. You're back here. I could call you up and say thank you. I do appreciate that very much, and I want you to come up here and say a few words. Thank you for being here today.
Well, first, thanks for everybody being here to care about the salamanders. As I drove up, I didn't realize there were that many cars that would be hauling salamander friends up here. My purpose here totally is to say thank you for the cooperation that we got at every level once the heat calmed down. You know, the Army decided to let women in the Army, or the military did, but they didn't know whether or not they should go into combat. They never met the female members of the county commission. But when Jonas and I got involved in this, and I want to say Jonas Miller has been a warrior in this from day one. He's my right-hand man, and I couldn't do without him. But as we flew to Albuquerque, and we discussed the warring factors, and many of you who represent the development community were fairly vocal about your warlike tendencies also as this all started. We went over to meet with Dr. Tugler and his staff, and and to sit down with those folks over there and try to come up with a way that we could all sit down and talk. And I want to thank the court, Commissioner's Court, and all those involved, pushed the tempers down, brought the logic up. I want to thank Dr. Tuggle. You know, in Texas, we label a man as a real man if he's a man of his word. And I'm telling you, Dr. Tuggle is a man of his word. And I can't say anything nicer about anybody than to say when he gives you his word, he keeps it. Dr. Tuggle, I salute you. You are, we'll make you a Texas. We'll make you a Texas. Seriously, the court, Val leading, they calmed down, settled down. The building and construction community settled down, and we talked. And we realized that we could find a common ground that everybody could work in, and we did it. It's the leadership that was provided by all these people that are here today that did that. We were glad we could just kind of give everybody a push to get them started. So I'm very happy about what has happened here with the Salamanders. We have other issues coming up, and I'm really happy to say we have set a goal and a target for dealing with those other issues as they come. And let's keep our temper down, keep our logic up, and work through these matters, and be proud of the fact that someday, someplace in Iowa is going to say, the Georgetown Williamson County model is the model we want. And that's bragging rights. Thank you for having me here.
So I want to introduce, there's a whole lot of people that I need to say thank you to. We've mentioned a few of them, but as most everything works out, there are a lot of people behind the scenes that make things happen that no one ever knows about, or very few people know about. And so I want to try to mention a few of them. I'm probably gonna mess this up and forget a few people, but when we started this adventure back in 2011 and started putting together a team, of course the Conservation Foundation had folks that we employed to find science, find out answers scientifically. And Dr. Kimball White is here. He was part of that team, and from the get-go. And I don't know if is anybody here from SWCA. Anybody here from SWCA? I don't know. At the time, he was working for SWCA. Now he has his own company, Cambrian, and they have done an outstanding job of helping us guide the discussion. But also, we realized that we had to come up with a plan. We had to come up with something that would work here in Georgetown. And as has already been said, to balance the endangered or the species in their environment with development as fast as we are growing, and continue to have that known game rule scenario, because that's what we considered a win, was to have the development community be able to come in and know what the game rules were, and then they could decide if they wanted to play the game or not. But at least they would know, and it wouldn't be changing on them. And so that was key to a victory for us. So we put together, and I don't know if they came willingly or if we just elected them when they weren't in the room, but we put together a technical team that worked tirelessly over months to get some kind of framework that we could visit with the service about and come up with a good result. So I know that several of these people are here, so wave to the crowd. I've already introduced Dr. Kimball. Alicia Gerard, where are you? I know you're, okay, right there. Alicia is from the city of Round Rock, and so when you clap, it's for Alicia and Round Rock, who donated her service for a long time, okay? Let me see, Curtis Steger, where are you? Right there. Our engineer on the team, and PJ's here, I appreciate that. Steger and Bazell donated him to our technical team, and so we'd have the engineering aspect.
And Curtis was one that got volunteered when he wasn't in the room. So.
I think that's right. Yeah. And we also had Matt Harris, Matt and Robert Kleeman. We've worked with them from the very beginning in trying to get the landowner perspective, because we realized that was key to making this work locally. Matt and Robert have traveled with us. They have worked tirelessly too, and I really appreciate all of your efforts. I also want to mention Gary Boyd, who he wears a lot of hats for the county. Gary right here, he wears a lot of hats. He's got the air quality hat on sometimes. He's got Parks hat on sometimes. He's got, we need to get you a Sally hat. And he did put on a Sally hat one time. It was pretty funny. But he does all kinds of things for us behind the scenes. He's so knowledgeable about all these issues. And so I really appreciate all his efforts. So can we acknowledge all these folks, please? I think that the next on the agenda was to, and I may have missed some folks. Obviously, I know how I wanted to mention. Senator Cornyn was not able to join us today, but Sandy Edwards is here from his office, and let me say that that the senator was key in several discussions that we had, and he actually helped get Director Ash down here all the way from Washington. And we sat and visited. Well, actually, Commissioner Long and I, we were strategic in our approach to getting him from the airport. We picked him up, and we had an undivided attention for that long.
Two crazy women from the Commissioner's Court for an hour between Austin Bergstrom Airport and the Parks office.
No, it was a great visit and a great opportunity to get to know him. And, you know, what I didn't understand is how complicated it is. I knew it was bureaucratic, but I didn't realize that there were, 19 signatures that had to happen from Adam in the local office all the way up the rung to finally it's done. 19 people. I mean, we think it's tough in the city, in the county to get things done. Incredible. So I do appreciate the senator. Thank him for us, please, Sandy, and all that you do for us. Thank you so much. Okay, I think there's a couple of things that need to happen. Dr. Tuggle, you want to come back up?
Well, just in case I forgot anything that I wanted to say, and this is perfect timing. You know, the service doesn't usually provide recognition for people who comply with the law. I mean, we just don't.
It's one of those
I don't know what else to say about that. But when you have a unique partnership that kind of started from a mushroom cloud to, you know, culminating in an event like this, you need to acknowledge that model. You need to acknowledge the collaboration that took place, and all the people that have been recognized are truly leaders, and they deserve that type of recognition. And so what we would like to do is to present 2 plaques to our collaborators, our genuine collaborators. This one is to Williamson County, and it says, presented to Williamson County for their commitment and effort to conserve and protect the Georgetown Salamander. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's Southwest region greatly appreciates your efforts to address endangered species, water issues, and urban development. Your work serves as an admirable model for all other local governments across the country, and I am very pleased to have been able to sign that myself. So, congratulations.
Commissioner Bergman,
Please.
come on up.
Oh, there she is. And I want to give it to you guys.
Yeah, stand here together with you.
So, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I still remember the meeting.
Beautiful.
Quite memorable.
And not to miss our opportunity, we also wanted to present the award, or acknowledgement of the award, to the city of Georgetown, which was very instrumental. As much as the county was involved in this, we also needed the city ordinance to be part of that. So, Mayor, are you still with us?
Yeah.
He didn't know I was going to recognize him. So. We don't have a lot of models as it relates to our collaboration with cities and urban areas. And this clearly is one that demonstrates that we can do it and we will be doing it in the future. So, congratulations, sir.
Nice and so, huh?
That's nice. Very nice. Thank you for doing that.
Amazing.
Thank you. And my last little word, I guess, is to your congressional leadership. Congressman Carter, cannot tell you how much I appreciate your words, but it is mutual admiration from the standpoint of our initial meeting and to be able to communicate what was really important to the community and was really possible in terms of our collaboration. And if I failed to acknowledge that, I apologize, but I wanted you to know that you're my favorite congressman too.
Thank you.
Did I forget anything? Oh yeah, Sally. We forgot Sally. I'm sorry. She is affectionately known as Sally to us, and it took about how long? How many seconds to find it?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to find Sally.
Walking up to the top.
Yeah, Swin Bank is an opportunity here to see development and community around, but the salamander and the water's gorgeous. The salamander lives very nicely here. If you would like to see Sally, we have, yeah, don't touch him. We have an opportunity for that if you want to come down closer to the water, and Dr. White will show you salamander. Thank you very much for being here today. I think that in fostering relationships and in accomplishing things like this, we have set a standard for how we want to approach future issues like the monarch butterfly, like the mussel that we are working on currently, and other species as they come about. So, hey Sally, you want your picture?
It's pretty tiny.
So anyway, I want y'all to come up and see Sally. The city brought little walking meters, I think you can get out. Right, Kimberly, what is it called?
Pedometers.
Yeah, those are pedometers in there, and there's some brochures here. So please
and
take
poppy
that and
seeds.
stay healthy. All right, thank you for being here today.
Doing the little Vanna thing.
Yeah.
You know.